Okay, I
मीनाक्षी
think
जी
we are
आपका
starting.
ट्रैवल शेड्यूल नहीं पहुंचा। मीनाक्षी जी का रजिस्ट्रेशन तो हो गया।
सर
Oh.
भेज दिया मैंने।
अच्छा, you are
हाँ जी।
how are you traveling?
सर बाय ट्रेन।
By train. Okay, good.
Good evening, Manjit ma'am. Nice to see you joining here. Good evening.
Good evening.
So, good evening, everyone.
Good
And
evening.
a very warm welcome on behalf of IPT and on my personal behalf. We are really going to have a very great session today to, of course, congratulations, Uthra madam, and thank you for sparing time for us to talk to us. And I invite Dr. Poonam Jain to carry out the proceedings of this today's session. Dr. Poonam, please start.
Thank you so much, ma'am. A very pleasant evening to distinguished guest speaker, Madam Uthra, Professor Ahluwalia, prominent professors present in the meeting, and our cheerful audience. Ladies and gentlemen, myself, Dr. Poonam Jain, the member of Executive Council IAPT RC1, welcome you all for the wonderful conversation with Dr. Uthra Rajan, organized by IAPT. Today, we are delighted to have Dr. Uthra Madam with us as an eminent speaker. Before proceeding further, it gives me immense pleasure to invite Professor V. Madhurima, Professor, Department of Physics, Central University of Tamil Nadu. Ma'am, over to you, Madhurima ma'am.
Good evening, everybody. Amidst these celebrations and honoring Uttara, I think both of us are with a slight heavy heart. RC13, in particular, Chennai city has lost a very eminent teacher, Dr. S.V.M. Satyanarayana, who stood for what it meant to be a teacher, taking teaching out to those who really need it, the students, spending his weekends. He was a faculty at Pondicherry University, and we lost him yesterday. I'd like to start with, I think, silent note. So, when the question was being asked as to, somebody should take this work forward in Chennai because he has been doing human service to the cause of students and training them to be great physicists, and they are everywhere. I mean, the students are there everywhere. Definitely, one of the names that comes to our mind is Uthra, because she has also been somebody who has been inspiring students in Chennai, and I have been a witness to this personally over the last decade or so. The way she is very enthusiastic about motivating students, constantly taking them out, her outreach programs, it goes way beyond her college teaching or the formal teaching that she does. And I think that is what sets apart Uttara from the rest of us. I'm sure all of us are good teachers in our classrooms, but the ability to translate that into something in the society is something great. And Uttara stands for that. And it's an honor to IAPT, I guess, that she's being honored with this year's award for the best teacher. And congratulations to you, Uttara. And I'm looking forward to the conversation that's soon going to. Thank you for this.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for blessing us with your kind words. And you have given us so many achievements of Madam Uttara. Now, moving further, I am privileged to introduce Madam Uttara, the recipient of IAPT Deenbandhu Sahu Memorial Award 2023. Firstly, ma'am, I would like to congratulate on behalf of IAPT for achieving this milestone. Heartiest congratulations, madam.
Thank you so much.
Madam Uttara has completed her PhD in 2008 from University of Madras. Currently, she is working as an associate professor and holding the position of head in the Department of Physics at Dwarka Das Govardhan Das Vaishnav College, Chennai. She has 27 years of teaching experience. She is heading 4 major and minor UGC projects. She has received Best Tamil Science Writer Award for the year 2012 and 13, awarded by Professor V.C. Kulan Deswamy, Educational Trust for Popularization of Science in Tamil, and Best Teacher Award by Lions Club International in 2013. Dr. Uthra is a versatile, dedicated teacher who has done commendable work in the area of innovative teaching in UG physics. She is dubbing the Arvind Gupta science videos in Tamil and using them in class, which inspired science and non-science students to learn physics. She extends her mentoring not only in India, also at international level, New York Academy of Sciences, where about 1,000 of girls students are benefited by her. She is an e-content reviewer of Tamil Nadu SCERT to guide teachers. She has trained 1,000 plus students and teachers on DBT Fold Scope, including one at IITM under IAPT. Under her guidance, many students have achieved extraordinary laurels to their credit. The list is huge, but I don't want to tell everything here because further we have a very good, very healthy session with Madam Uthra. So, moving further, I would first like to pay my sincere gratitude towards Professor PK Ahluwalia, sir, the President IAPT, for gracing us with his presence. And now I would like to invite sir to kindly take over the session further.
Thank you
Over
very
to you.
much. Thank you, Poonamji, and thank you, Madhurima. Thank you, Ma'am Rekha. And it's my proud privilege and duty also to first of all congratulate Dr. Uthra. And I believe that we are going to have a great association of Dr. Uthra with IAPT, which he has been, nurturing in the past so many years, though we came to know about it very late. So I think that's something which is like a discovery for us. So Uthraji, you are a discovery for IAPT, and I think we are going to really enjoy whatever you have achieved. We are celebrating it, and I am sure that in the last so many years, we have been conducting this IAPT Dinabandhu Sahu Memorial Award, thanks to Ma'am Sharmishta Sahu and Dr. Sahu, who came forward to institute this to celebrate the achievements of a teacher teaching at undergraduate level. And one of the best things which I found, ma'am, was this, that your selection has in fact raised the bar for this particular award itself. That is something which I felt. And in this conversation, I would like you to really reveal for us that how do you find so much time to do so many things? I don't know really. I was not able to understand that how do you do that? And please share with us your model of working in so many parallel streams. You are a parallel woman, human being, if I would call you. Yes, please, ma'am. Tell us, how do you find time?
I don't find time actually. I make time, honestly. I have a family, and my family is again big. And my students and my colleagues who have joined here, they know I'm a parallel processor. I find time. And all these works, it has been done over 2 decades, actually speaking. So reminders in the notebook, reminders in my book. So as I said, even today I'm ready with the PPT. So, anything happens, there'll be a reminder for me and, prepare slightly ahead. That is all I do. Nothing else. And one more thing, that is, I have I would say it's a minus point. That is, I'm not into research. And I must thank Sharmishta Sahu, ma'am, and the people who have arranged. See, they are giving the award for UG teachers. That's why I got fit in actually. Really, thank you, IAPT. Because there are some colleges which happens to be undergraduate college only. So in a way, I feel, we have only undergraduation. We do have post-graduation as a self-financing course for which I was heading till 2015. After that, the management, the policy matters, they are slightly away. I'm no more heading it. So that actually made me push towards, finding something and then, do something more. I can't stay with just undergraduate teaching. I always wanted to do more. So I find time. That is also. Thankfully, God is with me.
Dr. Uthra, long time back, I read a book, and the title of the book was How to Live 24 Hours a Day. And I used to wonder that will I be able to find such a person who lives 24 hours a day? And I think you are an example of that.
That's a very big word.
So,
And thank you anyway, sir.
In fact, I was going through the video which you made for the award. And I was, what you call, just feeling that here is a candidate who is going to win this time. I was not part of that, team who were the judges for this program. The reason was this, that, you have not limited yourself to college itself. Though you are teaching there, you are a teacher, no doubt about it. So what made you really go out of your college and still keep your balance between teaching and reaching out activities? This was the question which was coming in my mind.
One big reason is Dr. Vijayan sir and Dr. Natarajan sir. They have been my motivation, my gurus, whatever you call, whatever name you want to give. Because when I grew up as a teacher, I saw them, live. And when I joined this college, it was a men's college, everywhere only men. So I had to prove myself, and I joined this college when I was just 22-year-old. So I'm completing almost 28 years of service in the same college, Vaishnav College. So, and there we had, in my video also I would have said, we had Professor Ananthan and Professor Srinivasan. And the first head of the department was Professor S.R. Govindarajan. He was also principal. They were actually outreach people. I have not met Professor S.R.G., but through stories that I heard through Dr. Srinivasan and Dr. Ananthan, they wanted something, something has to be done in the department. So they always mentored me, so that I would evolve as beyond the classroom was their concept. They were writing books, teaching, many school children, training the teachers. So they inspired me. Over the time, I happened to meet Arvind Gupta ji through one of the, through Vijayan sir, and in between Natarajan sir. So these people inspired me, and then I said, this is my call. Teaching is my call. So, the peripherals, or just, take everybody with you. And I love people, actually.
Then please tell me one thing more, that are you from Chennai, or you had a background from outside Chennai?
Yeah. I'm basically I'm a town girl. So I'm from the temple city of Kanchipuram. So born and brought up there. Very simple school. For that matter, in the street that we lived, there was too much of child marriage. At that point of time, till 2000 also, they had only child marriage. Now things have changed. So after 13, I turned 13, I didn't have friends. No going out, the 3 or 4 streets, not the entire Kanchipuram, 3 or 4 streets. There was a particular community living. I was living along with them. We were living along with them. So because I was not playing outside, the entire time I was devoting on the books or, the cultural activities that was happening all around the town, simple town. But my aim was to become rather, I would say somewhere I found the call in physics. I mean, I can't even say physics. I wanted to find out why. Why was always there in me. Why and how this happens, or how does it work? This question was always bothering me from my childhood. Then I found out or figured out in class 9 or 10, okay, you have to do physics to find answer for your why and how. And then I always loved teaching. By class 10 or 11, I had to choose whether, because we've seen only school teachers, I wanted to become a school teacher. The first thing every child does, school teachers, who know you stand tall in front of everybody. Everybody would say, wow, good morning, miss, good afternoon, miss. So that was my idea. And then it so happened, we used to have a lot of visitors to the temples, and my mother would serve everybody food. Anybody can come into our house anytime, the relatives, far relatives, they'll come to Kanjipuram to buy silk saris and visit temples. So one group of people who came to my house was happened to be college teachers from Pachepas College. Then I saw them, okay, college teaching is another option for me. So, through them, when they were talking, and they were also teachers, but they were talking in a different platform. Then I said, can I come to your college one day? One of them took me to their college. I saw my own PhD guide, Gunasegaran sir. He was walking in the steps of Pachepas College. I said, this is the place I want to learn, or I want to come to college. That's how I moved to college. Soon after schooling at Kanjipuram, I moved to Chennai to do BSc Physics and I wanted to become only college professor.
Okay, so this is how you started getting inspired, and this is, in fact, normally the case. But there must be some influences from your family also, ma'am. What was your father, in fact?
My father was a very, very simple person. He was a lawyer, but not something like what cinema, movie or things they shook. Very, very simple and humble, very nice person who must have become a teacher. I would always feel this man must have become teacher instead of a lawyer. He would teach so well. And then he would do a lot of translations because there was a lot of village people who come to the Kanjipuram court. It was a small court. So he would sit and translate a lot. At the same time, he would translate and teach us etymology, myself and my sister, my younger sister. So I was very, very, because I had decided that I would come to Chennai, I knew my biggest hurdle would be English language. So, you have to cross. So right from 9th or 10th standard, the Trenan Martin and Hindu paper were my friends. All the time, for that matter, there is one more inspiration. What made me take physics was D. Bala of Balasubramaniam sir used to write in Hindu paper those days, why or science things. So I said, I would follow that every Saturday or Sunday. I'm not too sure. D. Bala, then later he was in LV Prasad Institute in Hyderabad. So English was a big problem. So I would sit with him, learn a lot of English words, try to talk, but only after coming to Chennai, it was again a challenge. Spoken English was a challenge, but somehow my hostel mates helped me, overcome that challenge. My college teachers, they helped me to overcome that challenge.
So when you landed in college, you had to make a switch over from vernacular to English medium. Am I right?
No, I was studying in English medium in Kanjipuram. But the thing was, it's a government school. So you will have 6 sections of Tamil medium and 1 section of English medium. Book will be in English, but the teachers were used to teach in only, teaching in Tamil. So, but my question, answer paper, everything I used to answer in Tamil, but we were not good at spoken English or expressing ourselves in English. We would have everything in the mind, but, it has to come here. So that's why probably I would say I took up translation work later because, all the time translating it in my mind before I speak, whether am I right, whether am I wrong. It was minus point at one point of time, that became a plus point much later actually.
So may I say that your father is a kind of an influence on you as far as translation work is concerned. Yes, have you ever helped him also in translation when he was doing that work? Did he ask you sometimes, take this page and translate it?
Definitely, especially the legal matters. Okay. I would go with him, go to the court very often, go sit there. That image, the judge, the people who talk. So I actually was inspired to talk. I don't know how much my students like it, but then, I started talking, that inspiration came from the judges, the lawyers whom I met.
Okay, wonderful. And then who was your, science teacher, physics teacher in school who was the top influencer, and did you really try to use in your teaching him or her as a role model?
Yes, a lot of them. In my video, I would have said actually, right from third standard, first standard, Mullai Miss, Tay Miss, they all taught me maths, English so well. For that matter, my maths, I still remember his, I don't even know what his name was. He taught me till LKG, UKG, first standard, second standard. He'll have a big paunch. So we call him Toppasar because he had a paunch, sir. He used to teach maths so well. And third standard, when he left, I had another teacher, Krishnaveni Miss. Those styles, each of them had a style, but they saw to it, end of the day, the child learns it. And again, coming to my middle school and high school, I had Kanakavalli Miss, and my chemistry Miss, Malti Miss, was a great inspiration. When it comes to language, it was one Anandi Miss. She would make us stand on the bench most of the time when we were in 9th standard and 10th standard. She would make us... That was, it was a girls' school. She would say, you are going to Chennai someday. You have to do something big. Okay, so you have to stand up because you have bigger ambitions. So I'm not going to trouble others. Those who have bigger ambitions, you have to undergo this. Otherwise, you will not change.
Mm-hmm. So that actually made you be more determined and passionate about what you are going to achieve.
Grammar. Otherwise, I don't think I would have got grammar.
Mm-hmm. Good, great. And what about, that journey which normally happens in science, that you start with the exploration and you start engaging with the things, then you start asking questions. Who was that fellow in the school who really made you think like that? Or you had a friend with whom you would, go into some kind of a question answer session about various things?
Yeah, I had a friend called Sangeeta, but in between she got married and left somewhere, at the end of the school itself. But to be honest, because you have posed this question, my friend was my electrician actually. He was much elder person. But he would spend, those days we had that big fuse, huge one at home. And we wouldn't have we had current, of course. I was not born in Stone Age. So, but often the current would trip or something would happen. So that man would come here very often. So I would bug him with a lot of questions and, why this fuse is working? Why are you not making this? I would bug him a lot. And when it comes to friends, I would say, except for Sangeeta, others, many of them took the path of medicine and things. They were more mark-oriented, so they were into other streams. The rest, I would talk to myself many times.
Oh, wonderful. So that means you were raising questions and then trying to seek answers for those. That's great.
I would write. I used to write a lot. I used to write a lot, whether it is in English or Tamil. For those questions, I still have some notebooks where I have never found some answers. There will be questions. So I would write. And later on, when I see some people, then I started learning to ask. Because for many of us, of my generation, asking was not easy. Even now, when you see an elder person, you are more scared because of the respect or whatever it is. So asking was not easy. So, but then, much later point of time, I met people to whom I could easily talk or ask. So, I would say that's why I tell my students, don't leave the questions, put it somewhere. And then a time will come, you will find the guru or gurus or even YouTube or blog, you can figure out the answer. So questions, as you said, questions are more important.
So that's, in fact, very interesting in the sense that, you have been talking about three people particularly when you came into teaching as a profession. You talked about Professor Vijayan, you talked about Professor Natarajan, you talked about your teachers in the college also and how they influenced you. But then you also talked about, Arvind Gupta ji, who is a Padma Shri, and I'm really impressed by that man. I have been going to his website. It is part of the web links in our IAPT website also. Immediately when I opened the page of that web link of Professor Arvind Gupta. It was written 1 million books for 1 billion people. And meeting such an inspirational person must have been great for you, isn't it? And tell us, how that man who was a professor in IIT got into, making toys to explain physics to young minds. How he has actually mentored you, I would say. He was a great mentor for you in those years. So what was his influence in, making you a good physics teacher and making your students explore things and experiment with the things and arriving at, those results, which we may call as a discovery on the part of the student itself?
So about Arvind Gupta ji, this generation may not about pen friends. It so happened I had never met him till last few years before.
Okay.
So it was only, mail. And before I met him, or before I heard about him, it was again through Vijayan sir. Before that, I started writing. That's what. I was waiting for my PhD to get over. Actually, I had registered for my PhD in 1997. Somehow it got elongated for many reasons. Finally, I got my degree only in 2008. So it was I was working the entire time I was working. So the minute I completed my PhD, I wanted to complete my PhD and start getting into writing for public. Even before that, I started slightly writing. And then I used to visit British Council Library for my son. I had a small son then. So I would engage him in many things, whether it is Science City or British Council Library. British Council Library used to have a huge children's section. So he would spend time playing there. So, and you will have a lot of books. So that was the kind of inspiration I wanted to write for children. Children and future is that's only true. As a teacher, we are thinking of future only. So I started slowly writing and translation. And as I said, Professor Ananthan and Srinivasan, who have been my very senior people. So they would come, they were retired professors, but they would ask me a lot of questions. Why Uthra? They will give me one wrong question and bug me with that to give me the answer. It will not happen. I'll go so wrong. Sometimes I'll assume the question is right because they are elders. Then finally they'll say, no, we were playing with you. So I'll realize how dumb I was. And especially Ananthan sir, he is like a very phenomenal physics professor. So it was this. So he said, you have to write. So I started writing slowly and started publishing. And all these are there in my website already. And then it so happened, when Vijayan sir happened to meet me, he said, there is somebody called as Arvind Gupta. This happened somewhere around 2008. You must go visit his website. The minute I visited his website, I knew, yes, this is the place I have to be. The minute I saw those videos, that time we didn't have all these cell phones. My husband had that small cell phone. So I was using it for dubbing. I started dubbing because, I'm basically a person who wants to talk. I like to write, but then, immediately it comes because, you see that my mind starts translating things in it and then you have to throw it out. So I started dubbing it, sending it. And then every day he would send me, you have to read this. In 10 days, you have to read this book. You have to read this book. He was like just behind me and I had a small son. If you ask me how I manage the time, I would read out all those stories for my son. I don't know whether he understood or not. I would keep on talking physics in his language. So
that's very interesting.
He has dubbed even when he was some 6-year-old. Because we had only one phone, I would give it to my students, find out who has a nice voice. There are some children who will have, you feel good to hear them. Yes. They would say, hey, come on, we'll all do this. I'll get you bhaji and tea. This was the only thing that I rewarded them with. So we'll go to canteen. For them, going with mom, going with a head and eating bhaji was something very big. That's fantabulous for them. Mm-hmm. So found few students who were able to volunteer, and then this is how Once we started sending, by then I had done some 30-40 dubbings. My son had done some small children voice. There are something very, very small videos which would potato turns brown. That's a beautiful video. You like to hear that small child's voice, who's ever voiced it. So this became, he would have written in one of the mails, all these Tamil videos are becoming ravenous. Yes, people started watching so much. Then I said, I'm going to, translate bring 3 language books, Hindi, English, Tamil.
Oh.
I would translate, go to the, Xerox or that student Xerox, we call it student Xerox, the typical DTP people. I would pay him and then they will set the Tamil font. Only they can do. I didn't have all these facilities that I have right now, though we had computer. Send it to him, then he would put it. People were seeing it, reading it, whether they saw it or not. Yes, it is going to happen because he was a person who didn't bother about anything that was happening then. Instead, he was doing things for future. One of the books I did was on nuclear physics. The entire nuclear physics,
that was in the cartoon.
That was by Jean Peripetit's cartoon book.
Yeah.
Cartoon book. Jean Peripetit's book. So it just went on. So slowly I became more inclusive person. Then he started giving me, books on education. I tell you, he would see to it that I read it. He'll not leave me. Read, Uthra. Tell me. You take your time. He'll say, have you read it? That is all. That was enough because I have to answer him. So for that matter, he inspired me so much that I took my son away from the regular schooling. He gave me a book called as Last Sudbury Valley School. That's about homeschooling and then, bringing up your kid on yourself. From 9th standard, I took my son on my shoulder rather than myself.
You are a great experimenter, in fact. I think this is a wonderful experience which you are sharing.
If you believe in the way you are teaching, you should be willing to try that with you.
Oh, yes, I do agree.
Otherwise, preaching, I don't believe in preaching. If you have not done that, what is the point?
Yes, yes.
And anytime you may fail, and especially with your child, if you fail, everybody is going to look, and it is somebody else. It's a child is another person. So of course, I had no options. I had backup options, but thankfully, my son, he did his 9, 10, 11, 12 as a homeschooler, and now he's a car designer. He's come up so well. Because of the creativity that, and, make and break things that he learned, and he said, okay, you can make, you can break.
And the one thing which I can say is that your son has had great faith in his mom, that if mom is doing this, I think she's doing it for the betterment of us only. I think that is also a great faith. Normally these days, children don't have that kind of a faith. They say, okay, you don't know, we want to do ourselves. But I think you being a teacher must have also influenced them in home. Am I right? My perception is okay, or there was something else which went into it?
No, I can say that the same thing I do with our students, all of us do with our students, and always plan. And that's what physics taught me. You can't assume your circuit is going to be right. You can't assume your setup is going to be right. Something may definitely go wrong. In that case, if it goes wrong, you must be able to, come back and then figure out what it is. You can't say, no, ma'am, I didn't get it. You can't walk off. You have to do it right. Somehow you have to figure. So that got imbibed in our lifestyle, in most of the physics teachers' lifestyle. It's not just me. In most of us, it comes actually.
One thing which I want to ask you is this. Look, you said you wanted to finish your PhD. I think doing PhD itself is a journey, it's a process through which you go through, and then you realize, for reaching this particular end, you have gone through that process, and that itself makes you, a big explorer also. Maybe circumstances may not allow you to continue with that. That's a very different matter. But then it turns you into a different person.
I'm thankful to it now. Thankful to it. I became a big explorer.
Yeah, and do you see that kind of a change which happened because of the PhD?
Yes, definitely. So because something stops you, don't stop. You go hit your thing on the wall, see to it. I mean, I'm not very vociferous. I don't say, oh, no, I'll do this, I'll do that. But thing is, end of the day, we have to finish it. We have obligations. We have duties. We have to complete it. So I can't be saying, no, I can say change the system. No, I can't do that as a single person or over the night. When Arvind Gupta ji could not change everything, I don't think I even have the thing to, I can't even say that. But we have the responsibility and the obligation and duty towards the future generation and the physics people, and we have to, help them explore.
Great thought, ma'am. Have you been influenced by a physicist who you came across during your study? I mean, not as a teacher, but as a scientist, as a physicist, which you came across in your studies. Like, for example, C.V. Raman or Einstein or any such person. Can you tell us who is one who is your favorite in a sense, which you would like to tell your students also? Here is the physicist. You should be.
Ruchiram Sahani. Ruchiram Sahani.
Okay, that's great.
I would say Ruchiram Sahani. And, there are many others. Soon you will see a book written by me on just Indian scientists. Every scientist. And Atmaram may not be a physicist, but then, it was like into everything. What a kind of, and then Wadia was not a physicist. But without Wadia, I don't think we would have had IG Car. I don't think we would have had too far. The soil, on the geography, on the geology, and Atmaram, fiber optics. So these are all very, very simple people whom we don't even know. Ruchiram, he has done research with Rutherford. So, and he was a great person when it comes to science outreach. We are nowhere, we can't even say our names after saying his name, actually speaking.
So we need to talk more about them, isn't it?
Only them. Only them.
I think I am very happy to hear that you didn't choose some big names, but you talked about some unsung heroes of our country whom we need to emulate for this kind of work, and really bringing science into focus as such. There is one thing more. When I was going through your journey as a teacher, what I found was that you have a great relationship with your students. As you mentioned also that you involved them in dubbing. In IAPT also we are looking forward to these kind of things. For example, we have started creating videos, small videos on solving questions itself. So people who are doing it, they are doing it in English. But I think the majority of the students are sitting in rural areas, and they are not having any way, to listen to these kinds of things in their own language. So we have a great opportunity so that we can really reach out to those students. Tell me that for doing it, did you write some kind of scripts for your students, or you really made them write the scripts after listening to that in English itself?
They have to write actually, but I would wait. I would review again. So because again, English is a very, very, it has its own nuances. And as a teacher, it's your duty. So reviewing is important. Even though I help teachers to do dubbing in my training programs, each teacher has to dub in my training programs. So they also dub. In that case, I am more into reviewing than writing for them.
But at this point, I must mention one thing. I think I cannot stop you from telling you that. Rather, I will ask you to do that for IAPT itself. Yes. I think you should initiate these kind of technology exposures for our members. Yes. So that they may start, doing some work. It's not that we have to discover the wheel. Wheel is already there. Let us present it to others for using it for some other purposes itself. So this is one request which I would like to make to you, because that is something great. Your body of work, which you have done, that reflects this, that you are in fact a multilingual person. As you mentioned, I was very happy to hear that there are 3 languages are your favorite. One is English, then is Hindi, and then is Tamil also. And bringing all these things together, it's a Triveni of our country, you know. The local language, Hindi and English, this is a Triveni through which you really go to your students also. I found that you have also a trained, rather trainer for, please correct me if I am using that abbreviation correctly, RBPT. Am I right?
Yes.
So please tell us something about that also, because there are 3-4 more people whom I know in IAPT. For example, Ma'am Sharmishta is one. She has done a lot of work in that. Ma'am Vandana Luthra is another, you know. So we are finding that there is another Triveni which I can see, you know, who can come together for engaging in RBPT itself. And national education policy actually also want us to go in that direction. So what is this concept where you really bring research into the undergraduate classroom?
We can say that it is research-based pedagogy technique. So it is actually not bringing research, it's making them more inquisitive and learning through research-based. That is what to say. Again and again asking why, what, how, instead of mugging or memorizing or accepting it, you have to figure out. It's more like, if you are going to do research, say, how will you approach the problems? Similar way, you are going to deal with your regular teaching methods or regular learning in the regular classroom. For that matter, I have helped the students use this method to understand about their hygiene or about the food that they have to take. If instead of saying, see, you have to have iron, you have to have all these vitamins for your better health, you are going to make them, why should I have this? Or reach the answer, what you want to do. So you can have these research problems could be based on your health, because it is undergraduate class. Everybody is not going to take a PG or going into actual research or anything. They are going to do anything that they want. They want a degree. So I use this method in my classrooms or for others in order to explore what they are thinking and bringing a form for it. Like how we write the research program, we have to do it in this for this.
Do you think that this gels very nicely with the 4th year of undergraduate degree, which is being propagated by NEP itself?
Yes. So that's why they started the research RBPT by ISER Pune. So you have 3 levels of training, and then I just completed all the 3 levels. So it's a very nice program actually.
And there is one thing more which I find very peculiar with you as a wonderful teacher. I think that part is also very interesting. And that is that you are not just confined to physics students only. You also engage with the students outside physics classroom also. And why this is so? Normally I am a physics teacher, so I say, sorry, this is my domain and I'm not going to step out of it. So how do you really find some kind of an inspiration that no, physics is not the real domain, that though this is my very, very green area, but you are stepping into orange area also, sometimes moving into red area also. So how does that actually happen?
I like challenges. I love challenge. If you are so see, when it came to homeschooling or a different form of learning, I took the challenge with my son or with my family. Similarly, if you are so passionate about physics teaching, don't stop in your safe domain. Go beyond, go get hurt, come back. So that makes you learn. When I teach the commerce students, first day, every day, last 4 or 5 years, commerce students come learn. Now the number has increased so much. Everybody wants physics. Because they know they're not going to write pen and paper exam. They have to explore Bernoulli equation. They are the students who left science in class 11. They said, I don't want science.
Are you in an autonomous college? Your students have the choice to go
Yes,
for
it's autonomous college.
Oh,
It's
that's
autonomous college.
once again we are hearing this is a very interesting example that
And
most of the times, people are saying this thing that people are opting for commerce, so students are not coming for physics. Your
they opt commerce only, but when it comes to this non-major elective, they love physics because we say no exam, but they will be doing more work than pen and paper. His friend would do only 3 hours, but these guys, we give again, we use Arvind Gupta videos. They can choose anything. We have a syllabus, but that is only for guidance. So they can choose experiments. They can do all these things. Even we have value education program. This year, last year value education program, every student in the 3rd year has to take up one Indian institution, find out the history. It could be IISc and Vivekananda or JC Bose Institute. It could be any institute. How J.R.D. Tata invested on, rather how he founded Tata Institute of Science. It could be anything. So we had that. This year for value education, this is the same thing that I'm trying. That's where I use this RBPT. Right? This year it is about one scientist. Every student has to do a movie on one scientist.
Oh.
So I can't sit and correct everything. So what I use, the content is by Vigyan Prachar. Vigyan Prachar recently released 75 scientists of our country. So you can take the content from there, each student, but they have to make a nice video presentation.
Okay.
So, you chunk that, and unless you go hit that red area, you will not know whether you are a good teacher or not.
And can you tell me, and just, physics walas are always interested in numbers, that how many such YouTubes you have created till date, you and your students, any number,
When it comes to Arvind Gupta, it is somewhere around 200, 250 dubbing videos. But when it comes to Uthra, it is some Uthra Dorerajan, I think it will have some 60 videos. And if you look at DGVC physics, there you have lots. 100 we would have crossed. And this year we have got beautiful students in first year. We started Why What series. Everything should be only 2 minutes or 3 minutes, because these days they can't sit with 30-minute video or 15-minute video. So 3 minutes is the maximum time a child can take up. It could be Lysager's figure. It could be any surface tension. It could be escape velocity. It could be anything. For the first year.
It also happens that one stops at, the first year undergraduate level to indulge in these things. But when you go to, say, second year or third year, normally we do not really create those kinds of things. And we are just, in that bracket only. But I think there is a still lot of area which needs to be explored, where the work, the kind of work which you are doing is needed. What do you think about it? Have you also, gone beyond that bracket and done something?
Yes. With the third years, that's the kind of posters about the scientists. Last year with the second years, we did Indian scientists. They had collected which was S.N. Bose and Einstein's communications.
Mm-hmm.
And the papers, the original papers, each student has to collect at least one paper and talk about it. They may not, they wouldn't talk the actual research. They wouldn't be able to do that. But what was their experience? They can, when they see those, they can at least say, oh, Planck's law is there. He has quoted Planck's law. Mm-hmm. Whatever they can say, communicate, let them. So with the second years last year, what we tried was each one has to bring Indian scientists' original paper. That is all. Download. Go search, download. And then talk about it.
Ma'am, have you tried to do any of work on C.V. Ramana also? Because he started publishing papers at very young age. He was in his teens when he wrote his first paper. And they are already available, and you can find that undergraduate students can understand those papers very, very nicely.
Yes.
Have you done some work in that direction also?
No. We have not yet. Let's see. We have some plans. Especially, I want to create a crescograph of JC Bose. Let us see. And, getting the right kind of students after they get filtered in the engineering college, first inspire them. When they come to second year, put them. And all my students, they have to at least the cream, say the 10% of them, they are given a chance to publish writing. It's not research paper about anything that the government does or the government policies in the Department of Science and Technology. So every month you will see in my Facebook page, DGVC Physics, there'll be, it would have got published in Arrivial Palagai or Curiosity of DST or the local Tamil magazines. The what you call it, advanced learners or those who are self-motivated or who are good at language. So they keep publishing.
Did you also feel that when they get small check for this kind of a thing, they feel excited about it also? Oh, there is some kind of a area in which they can excel. Has anything really come forward like that? Do you see that some of your students are shaping in that direction?
Definitely, yes. Jaipur conference, one of my students who is in NIT Jaipur, he'll come there actually. So, like any physics teacher, we have produced, like you or anybody in this group, all of us have created, small clones of ourselves here and there. So there are students who are in IGCAR, or one of the student I would have mentioned in my thing also. First year I teach Bernoulli theorem. In his interview after his MSc, he just tried to enact my Bernoulli class and he was selected for the job.
Wonderful, great.
So, and there are students who have created YouTube channels also.
There was another thing which I found very interesting in your CV. That was that you are a very wonderful radio caster also. Radio casting is nothing but the grandmother of podcasting itself, isn't it? So, and Modi ji also uses that, in Man Ki Baat. So, did you find that that medium is still there? It is only audio medium. It is still very good to communicate with the students regarding science, where visuals are very important.
Yes. Actually, those people who hear that are usually mothers. So where I have been doing quite good amount of FM programs, but my target, these students are not going to hear because they want something changing in the scene, on the screen. Right? So the mothers or the auto walas or the people, car drivers, you take science to them.
Oh, great.
So radio FM, they hear it a lot. Or the people who help at home, they all like to hear radio. They just switch on the radio. Or even when I'm washing my things, utensils, I put the radio on. So it is not distracting. So you target them.
I think I'll forget that question. This brings me to another very interesting point. And that is this, that then IAPT think of starting its own internet radio. We have people like you, there are so many people around who would like to work in that direction. Or maybe initiate even podcasting channel itself, where we can come together and we can really train people that come on, we will start our podcasting process in this particular direction. Do you think that we can do it? Because one thing I found is that you are not only a wonderful teacher, you are not only a wonderful mentor, but you are also very much, engaged in learning new technologies. I mean, which is the need of the hour. Maybe very soon we will hear that Uthra has started working in artificial intelligence and using that for for doing certain things.
See, actually, if you're going to start a podcast, you should have young minds. Actually, we can give them the content, but the young minds, they know how to catch the audience. So it's always collaboration. Sometimes
you are actually indicating that we can engage young people also with these kinds of programs.
Content can be from us, betting can be from us. But the young people, they have the blood, they know what is the trend.
And, Tamil as a language, whenever I look at the way it is written, it really looks me as complex as Chinese.
No. I'll teach you Tamil. I'll teach you Tamil. So easy, beautiful.
But, there are so fine nuances in the language which are not present in maybe the Devanagari itself. I mean, it's very, very much, there are so many sounds in it. I mean, when you sit down with a Tamilian friend, and if you ask him to speak something, you will find that there is music which goes on, which is not present in any other language. So, what is very fascinating in your mind about Tamil as a language, and how good it is in communicating science itself?
When it comes to any language, every language is beautiful. It has a beauty of its own when it is spoken beautifully. Whether it is Malayalam or Odia or Bengali, if you ask me, I'll say when Bengali person talks, like I'll be looking at them like this. When Malayali speaks, I'll be lost in my world. So every language has its own beauty in it. Said that, when it comes to Indian languages, vernacular languages, any language, it's not just Tamil. We have a long way to go when it comes to science and technology. We have not grown. We are too good in cultural things. When it comes to literature, it is good. We have not we are yet to catch up with science and technology growth. So I would have written a research article on what needs to be done, even when it comes to gender, addressing genders, especially when it comes to science and technology. And there are a lot of things that we need to do. Let us sow the seed now. I think after a few years, if we build up the vocabulary suitable, I think AI will pick it up, and after 20 years, it'll level the field. So that's what I would say. We have to grow. The country has to grow a lot. We need to invest on it.
Yes, yes. And what I can see is that you have been also curating lots of courses for patents and intellectual property rights, which again is a very important thing to be brought before the young mind. That is why I was saying, that how do you find time to do all these things? This is a miracle which I am seeing happening, that you are so much into the things, and I can now see that how you really manage it. You are a wonderful innovator, and you really try to find out ways to do things. And I think your students must have been loving you like anything. They must be very much fascinated and influenced by you. And that is why when this opportunity came, that Uthra has got this prize, I said, I think we must talk to her so that we can really peep into her mind, that how she does all these things and remain enthused about it. I can see that, what you call spark, even in this discussion when I'm discussing things with you, that you are very passionate about the way you are doing things. And I can understand how you have even translated one of the books written by Professor Natarajan. Am I right, ma'am? That is on which subject, ma'am?
No, I'm not too sure. Natarajan sir's book I have not translated. I think
Vijayan sir.
No. I have been translating Vigyan Pratibha of IMSC.
Okay.
I would like to, because there are a lot of physics teachers, I would like to stress on this. There is something called as Vigyan Pratibha run by TIFAR or HBCSE, Homi Baba Center. So I have been translating their science worksheets. Please take those worksheets. It is for the entire country. In Marathi and Tamil, it's completely done. Maths, and that is, it is completely translated, all the works. And there is something called as small science. Those are again, that is from 1st standard to 5th standard. We have completed in Tamil, 1st, 2nd, 3rd standard. How to teach science without bugging the children. And we all say, there are so many parts. See, what you get in Orissa, you don't get the same plant in Jammu. You may not get in West Bengal. You may not get in Chennai. You get something here. But at the same time, if I'm going to have one single book, that confuses children. And we have absolute diversity when it comes to social or economic. So to suit everybody, everything is there in Vigyan Pratibha. If people, these are all voluntary works. If people can come and contribute that would be great. We need people who can translate the worksheets, science worksheets and mathematics worksheets in other languages. So other translation I took up was many books by Arvind Gupta ji, of whether it is foreign books or Indian books. Recently, I have written a book in Tamil on digital electronics, actually.
Okay.
On digital electronics, that will get translated into 14 languages under some central government scheme. I'm sorry, I do not know the name of the scheme, but it will get translated.
Do you think that now this technology once again is going to help that in publishing it? For example, you must have watched that yesterday in our Wien IAPT, there was a lot of discussion about this itself. That is the best part of that group, that we engage into such kind of discussions itself. And I discovered Professor R.K. Khanna put a biography of Professor D.S. Kothari there. And I found that I can translate into Urdu, I can translate into Tamil, I can translate into any other language. So technology is going to be there a lot. What do you think about it? Is your experience of using this technology for translation has also helped you or not?
I use technology to a certain extent, because technology is taking only baby steps.
Okay.
Because it doesn't know the grammar, and especially the way the phonetics of one particular people of India is different from the way we coin the linguistics people will tell us better. So I have recently, for state government project, I took up the big and the small. It's about microcosmos. It's under G. Venkataraman series, typical physics book. It's a very heavy physics book. It's not a textbook. It's a popular science book. Very, very heavy book. One on Saha. If you try to do it with Google or AI, especially the people like G. Venkataraman sir, they are too good in English. They are very, very good in English. They do a lot of idioms and phrases.
Did you meet
Nothing
him
is
also, ma'am, when you wanted to do like this? Did you meet him also, G. Venkataraman?
Sorry, sir.
Did
Sorry.
you meet
Okay.
Professor G. Venkataraman also? Okay.
I have not met anybody.
Okay.
I have not met anyone. So when you use only technology, that becomes a problem. So sometimes now technology is growing. You can pick words using technology. There are certain words, and in all the Indian languages have some common roots. So that's why I said in the beginning, etymology is important. Even in my physics class, I teach etymology. Why the theorem is called so? Why are these words called so? Why should you call it as interference? Why they didn't keep some other name? Why should you call it as diffraction? Etymology, once you put the etymology in, or the laws, the words, then it becomes better. So in these translations,
I'm very fortunate that your father was there to teach you all.
Yes. So we have to pass it on. So when I teach physics or science, whether it is teacher training or students in the regular class, spend some 2-3 minutes for etymology. That I would say. So I will use AI, but with the thought, it may be wrong.
And one thing more which I want to really ask you is this. Now you're part of IEPT, isn't it? And you are somebody who can inspire many people in our association itself. So if I put it like this, that do you have, something where you would like to see IAPT going in a big way, as far as your experience of teaching, research, translating, communicating is concerned? Which is that area in which we need to really work a lot?
See, I said we are working, and it's a diverse country. It's a huge country. Each person chooses what he likes or she likes, and what is suitable to their college. I saw a few videos who were solving the question papers. That's so beautiful. Now I'm passing it on to my own students, right? So each of us are taking. So I would say, let us welcome a lot of people. So let us not even define the boundaries. I wouldn't even say, go in this direction. No, let me have a lot of people. It's like a sweet shop. Bring more varieties. So some point of time, it will settle down. The dust will settle down, and, it will take the right path, And again, there'll be changes. Once again, it will take the right path. So leave it to the nature. But let us have more people who wants, let us give them the independence, let us give them the time. So if somebody wants do storytelling with scientists, yes. You want to do biographies, yes. Now that this is being a women's cells program, yes, a lot of people are, say for that matter, Madhurima ma'am, she's a great person when it comes to, gender studies or gender equality and scientists. So each of us take what we like or what we think it should be done. So I'm so happy IAPT gives platform for all of us instead of imposing this is the direction. So we are in the right direction because everything is our direction.
So let me, try to come to the final phase of this interaction conversation. And that is that, what is that free thought which is coming in your mind for doing something with IAPT?
With me, more science communication and more about Indian scientists who have contributed for the physics.
Okay, good.
And definitely, I give you a word, in another 5-6 years, we will try to do, the experiments that those people did, whether you call it rudimentary or whatever it is. No, that's not rudimentary. So let us try to, set that for UG classes, because mine is UG. I'm not into big research. I'm not into earth-breaking research, no shattering. So I'm a happy person who is able to do this. So let us try to do all those. Even, the first time how Newton did, I would have written it in my microwaves book. It's by Isaac Asimov. So how we did that, we got the first spectrum. First time the spectrum. Why can't we assemble few glass pieces and then try that? So that will be so inspiring for school children or the undergraduates, maybe for postgraduates also.
And ma'am, one thing more. I mean, who are your, favorite science writers or science communicators whom you often read and try to see how they communicate?
One is right now not. One is definitely Jean Peripetit. He's from France. Him apart, I would say Arvind Gupta ji himself, and then Biman Basu, TVV sir, and then I have seen Bangalore, Karnataka. His works are very, very beautiful. I tell you, Kollegala Sharma sir. Kollegala Sharma sir, I would definitely say TVV sir. TVV sir, most of his works are in English or in Tamil. They'll be so beautiful. And then Biman Basu sir. Maybe I might left few more people, but this minute when you ask me, these are the things that come into my mind. And for that matter,
any physics person, like for example, have you read something about Nadlikar's writings?
Of course, see, they belong to, Jan Narlikar sir, Yashpal. Professor Yashpal. I grew up seeing Professor Yashpal's after 9 o'clock, there would be Amul Surabhi show. He would show that, in the Doordarshan, every, I think Saturday or Friday, my father will say, switch off, it's time to switch off the TV. Then I'll say, wait, please. I'll see Yashpal face only and then I'll go to bed. So Yashpal, and they're all for me gods.
Thank you very much once again on behalf of IAPT, on my personal behalf. I give you our greetings and congratulations for winning this wonderful IAPT Dinbandhu Sahu Memorial Award. And I think you will really surprise us with your work in future also. I'm looking for those surprises in future. Thank you very much. And back to Ma'am Poonam, please.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Ma'am Poonam, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm here. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, ma'am. It was a fruitful conversation session, ma'am. And it is indeed a prestige to listen to your experience and knowledge, ma'am. I am very delighted to know how much you are engaged. And the first sentence you said, I never have time, I find time. That is the most, touching sentence for me. We always say we don't have time, but now onwards, we should find time. We are much obliged, ma'am, for sharing your insights and for endowing the young learners with your words of perception, just like me. Now the session is open for the questions, but I can't see any question in the chat box except
I would like to read some of comments given by the
yes,
audience in this program.
yes, sir. Only appreciations.
Yes. And they are really wonderful things. And I think there is one remark which is coming from Ma'am Sarmishta, and she is saying this was actually in the connection with when I said that when I heard her video, I was saying that here is the person who is going to win the award. She said, same with me. The moment we received the application, I went through the application form and realized Dr. Uthra will win this year. And let me tell the persons here that she was way ahead of her competitors because her work was visible. Then Ma'am Meenakshi Syal is writing very inspiring story. Shushmita Mehta is saying very true, extremely innovative style of students. Again, Ma'am Sharmishta is writing. Then we have Shyamla Ma'am who is saying great work, appropriate teacher for the award. And then there is Ayan who is saying doing a lot for students. I think Ayan is a student of Ma'am. It is very encouraging. Congratulations to Uthra. Heartiest congratulations, Dr. Uthra. Such wonderful work, Ma'am Meenakshi. Then we have Vinodji saying, congratulations, ma'am. But here is, ma'am, you will be very happy to listen to this chat, which is by Professor Vijayan. Dr. Uthra attends all the programs we conduct at IIT Madras for college teachers involving IAPT or just by our own department. Also encourage her students and colleagues to participate in programs. In one such meeting, a demo by Gupta ji, he appealed for translating his videos into Tamil, as they are already translated in most other languages. Dr. Uthra took up that suggestion, and her team translated most videos. So I think that is a kind of a testimonial to the work which he has been doing. So once again, Anuja wrote, beautiful testimony, man, highly inspirational. Once again, Ma'am Sharmishta came up and she's saying some wonderful words once again. We are very happy hearing Dr. Uthra share experiences. Amazing Uthra ma'am. Amazing Digambar Kulkarni ji. Then there is Delsi, Dr. Z Delsi. Congratulations, ma'am. Pankaj Nagpure, who actually won last year's IAPT DSM. Highly inspirational work, Dr. Uthra. Congratulations, ma'am. Then we have another one from Zuno. Mind-blowing work as a teacher, ma'am. Dinesh, you are inspiration to me towards teaching part, ma'am. Proud to be your student, ma'am. By Dinesh Kumar G. Then Seema Vats is writing. Excellent teacher and a great motivator. Then Shashikant Pandey is saying, congratulations, ma'am, for inspiring so many lives. Great work. So I think, see, ma'am, there is one wonderful thing which has happened. Nobody left our meet. That shows that how people have taken your work. Poonamji, once again, back to you.
Thank you all for your kind words, all the participants for being here patiently. So just one word. Please visit those who want to know about what I have been doing on my blog. It is Uthra DGBC. This is not subscribe, like button. It's not that. But you can connect and then, because the works are there, from there you can take on. Everything is on public domain. If you want to do with Arvind Gupta ji or any work that I have done, you can mail those persons. It's not, no copyrights, nothing. It's all there in the public domain. Just Google Uthra DGBC. So you will definitely have some link over there in every work to whom you can correspond to. So let's Sahaviryam Karavavai. Let's all join hands and do. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Now I
Only one
request,
question. There is one
yeah,
question from Digambar Kulkarni ji.
Kulkarni ji, yes, sir. He has also raised hand, so I'm just giving the mic to him. Over to you, sir, please.
Hello. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yes, sir. I have a question to Uthra, ma'am. Actually, I want to congratulate you from all of you as getting a award for this one. So, in a translation of English literature, especially physics books or anything else is there. So there is I am from my mother tongue is Marathi. So I do found one of the problem that there are a lot of terms in physics which are held in English. So
Okay.
it is a great problem for us to how to convert this into the Marathi. And first thing, and if we derive any word in Marathi, at that time nobody knows what is the meaning of that particular word in Marathi there. So shall we have to keep this word as like that one, or we have to make in our own language, especially like bulbs. Example is bulb. So how to make the conversion for this bulb into Marathi? This is a great problem while doing the translation in there. So on this, I want your suggestion, madam, please.
Okay. Sure, sir. Sir, especially in Marathi, there are a lot of translation related to science and education done. You can check with HBCSE. You have a beautiful group. You can mail anyone. So for new words also, they'll give. This is one part. Okay. So where to find, where are the Marathi words? Yes. Second, should I translate everything to Marathi or can I hold it in English? Yes, I belong to the second group, where there are certain things I would like to use English words itself instead of figuring out a new word, because for certain words we have to figure out equivalent vernacular words. Yes, but for certain things, so it depends on what we are talking to, which age group we are talking to, about what we are going to talk. Yes, sometimes say in Tamil, in many of the in Indian languages, the way we write foreign scientist name itself is very confusing if you are going to write in Indian languages, in many of the Indian languages. Yes. So when a child who is in Tamil medium or in a Marathi medium or some medium, he reads this scientist name in his own medium, which is slightly changed, the way we pronounce. And then if he comes to college, they get fumbled upon. Those cases, let us not fumble them up, and then let us not threaten them with language, because they should not feel uncomfortable. The idea to translate is to help them. So we should have this in mind. So there are certain words I would suggest, please go for Marathi words. There are certain words, just use the quantum physics, use quantum itself. Why go for new word and then confuse the children and confuse the teachers and confuse everybody? Instead, go for what is it? Right? Ikwa in time. Whether transliteration will do. Some words, let's go for translation. When it comes to Marathi words thing, please message me. I'll put you in touch with the people who are doing a lot of Marathi translation. That would be very helpful for them as well as you, sir.
Thank you,
okay.
so much. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. You have bright ideas. Ji, sir, ma'am.
Yeah, we have with us one of the jury members, Professor Y.K. Vijay. Actually, we wanted Professor Joshipura ji and also Y.N. Mohapatra ji, but they could not make it. So we would like to hear from Professor Y.K. Vijay. What was the impression? They are the ones who have selected her for the best teacher award. So let us hear from Y.K. Vijay.
Thank you.
Direct from the horses.
Thank you. Yeah, namaskar, everyone. It was really a great task when I was asked to be one of the jury member, and we had to look at different dimensions of each teacher's and contribution. And well, I will definitely say that Uthra's has been a discovery with a multidimensional teaching capability, research and communication, translation, connecting with the society, and so on. So for about 13 applications we were given. For each category, the marks were fixed. Okay, even the research content, the marks were fixed. So while evaluation between 0 to 5 scale, we had to give the mark, all right, and different jury members were evaluating exactly with their own perception, looking at the videos. Well, I was highly impressed with the video, first of all. Okay, so that was my best marking. But looking at the positive and negative aspects of research, publication, because you have to give marks on each one. Initially, I submitted half-cooked file, and it came back that no, you have to do the complete evaluation. Okay, you have to give marks for other capabilities also. So I took another week to justify, and then I found that there are hidden strengths, and Ahluwalia sir will definitely agree with me that a teacher has to be evaluated with different angles and the perception, how a teacher is connected with the society. Not only research, publication, but the communication to the next generation, and then looking for their products, how they are growing. Okay, that is one of the perception which I could gather from Uthra's presentation and discussion. Listening each question is answered very confidently, and well, as a jury member, well, on behalf of all of them, we say that we have done a right judgment. So congratulations, Uthraji. You have been successful in justifying the teacher's capability, for which DSM award is the IIPT's one of the major, identification we are looking at. And I congratulate Samistaji. She has done a wonderful exercise, and it's all long Excel sheet which was there for evaluation, and you justify that. So you are welcome to come to Jaipur and interact with more members. Thank you. We will interact more when the opportunity comes. Thank you. Take care. I wish all success in coming programs and a good connection with IIPT.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to request Ma'am Sharmistha Sahu to give her remarks about this conversation session. Ma'am is available.
Yes. Good evening, everybody. I have been listening to every word that has been spoken by Professor Ahluwalia, wonderful way of questioning, and of course, Dr. Uthra's answers. I'm absolutely impressed by this conversation which has started this year, especially for the DSM award winner. So I'm feeling very proud that this activity or this event has been initiated in 2023, and I'm sure it will carry on for all the years to come. Secondly, the DSM award process begins sometimes in May. That is, of course, you must be aware of that I keep sending a lot of messages all over the country, trying to reach out to as many teachers as possible, so that whoever is interested in applying should be given a fair chance to apply. Of course, the conditions for eligibility has to be maintained. So we receive the applications all at one center, do an initial screening to make sure that all of them are satisfying the eligibility conditions. And after that, the persons who have been selected based on their eligibility are requested to give a set of their documents so that we can be verified whatever they have written in the application form. And the most important part is to make a video of whatever they have written in their application form. This particular award does not have any interactions or one-to-one interviews. So the best way to know a person is to, of course, go through the application form, which is not enough. And therefore, we request them to make a video of a short video, of course, of half an hour or 25 minutes. From that, we gauge who exactly is doing what. And that those videos, etc., are given to the jury member to do the evaluation. So I do only the initial screening, and the rest of the work is, of course, handed over to the jury member. And we have a set of 3 or 4 members who are doing this independently, though the set evaluation process or the marking that sir said is all defined. So nobody can have a biased outlook or give one thing, even one fact, more marks like that. So it is all evaluated in a wonderful way. And the rest of it is taken care of by doing the tabulation. So everything is based on whatever they have written in their application form, as well as they have mentioned or told in their video. Everything depends upon that. So that is how the evaluation has been done. Then we make a target so that we will be able to announce this person's name the day before Teacher's Day, so that the teacher, whoever is being awarded that year, can inform the college, and of course the celebration in the college can happen on the Teacher's Day. So that's how we have set the guidelines, and we are following that almost every year. So that is one very nice thing about it. It has taken a particular shape, and it is happening every year. And it is definitely the standard of the awardees is increasing gradually as time goes on. So we have reached a point now. I think we've got really good people who are getting awards and who are applying, and this should continue for years to come. So thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to talk. So thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I would like to request Professor Vijayan, who is here, to give the some remarks about this conversation session in Madam Uthra. Sir, you are not audible. You have unmuted, but sound is not coming. You are on unmute, but sound is not coming to us. No, sir, not yet. Sir is writing in the chat box. Yeah, there is not much to add. I have written in the chat. So, sir, Ahluwalia sir has already read.
Already described. Yeah.
Yeah. So now I would like to request Madhurima ma'am to give the remarks about this session.
Yeah, I think I typed it in the chat, but first of all, the way the entire session was conducted, I think is a beautiful lesson for anybody who conducts these. The way Professor Ahluwalia was very gently but firmly bringing out answers, and Uthra's confidence was a pleasure to watch. It was a verbal waltz that we were watching between the two of them. Uthra to me is more like an onion. The more layers you peel, the more you find, because every time I speak to her, I get something new about her. And she's potent, no matter how many layers you peel. So I think that has been a very characteristic feature of her. She's an inspiration for many of us to, like I said, to go back to the society. I think somewhere we need to remember that we shouldn't just be sitting where we are, but take it back to the society in the way we can. It's indeed a pleasure to have been here with all of you and listening to the amazing story of Uthra. And I can't think of anybody better than her to be a recipient of IIPT's award. She's one of the best teachers in the true sense of the word. Congratulations, Uthra, and congratulations to IIPT for having chosen. Thank you for this.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. I don't have any words for Uttara, madam. Everybody has spoken so well, so many appreciation remarks in the chat box. But still, ma'am, your words are indeed inspired us a lot. I appreciate your sincere efforts to upgrade yourself and delivering the best not only to your students but to society as well. I am highly impressed, ma'am. Now, I would like to request Professor Rekha Ghorpade, madam, General Secretary IAPT, for proposing vote of thanks to our guests and the participants. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Poonam. Before I present a vote of thanks, a small message from Professor Joshipuraji, who was one of the jury members. He said that you must mention what made him choose her as a best teacher. The best part of her biodata was her work, dubbing work, which she has done for the Arvind Gupta ji. And not only that, the most appreciable thing was who has recommended her. It was Dr. Padmashri, Dr. Arvind Gupta, who has recommended Uttara, and that speaks everything, I think. So, thank you, I must say, Professor Joshipuraji. So, to begin with, there are many actually. Of course, our today's guest speaker, or maybe a Utsav, we call it, is Dr. Uthra. The very right personality which has been chosen by the jury members, and IPT is really proud of her to be a best teacher in this particular session. So thank you, Dr. Uthra, for taking time for us and talking to teachers. It has been a really inspiring interview, and many of the teachers have expressed, and many of the teachers will be benefited with this. I would like to appeal and request to all of our participants that you will get more and more dimensions of Dr. Uttara if you visit her YouTube videos. I have been really impressed by her videos. She has also participated in TED Talks, etc. And those are really inspiring videos. So please go through. And I have nothing much left actually. The many people have spoken about her, but I suppose this 1 hour was not really sufficient to know Uttaraji but it was in the nutshell. So thank you, Professor Ahluwalia, for making Uttara talk about her achievements and just, let us know what exactly has, her contribution to teaching community. So, Professor Ahluwalia, and it was his idea, let us have this kind of interview. Therefore, I must thank for his initiation in this particular session. Next comes, of course, Dr. Sarmishta Sahu. IPT has been really indebted to her for constituting such a great uh, idea and constituting such a good prize, award rather, which has allowed us to choose a best teacher from IPT, and IPT is getting enriched year by year because we are getting one best teacher. There are, of course, very many teachers who are putting a lot of efforts, but we are acknowledging a teacher's efforts at UG level, especially. And therefore, we must thank Dr. Sarmishta Sahu and Dr. P.R. Sahuji for giving us the opportunity to, felicitate such a great personalities every time. I thank Dr. Madhurima, who has accepted to chair this particular session. When I talked to her, she was very happy and excited that she would be really grateful, and she felt. So thank you, Madhurima madam, and thank you for your association with the IPT through RC13, of course. We profusely thank and we are grateful to the jury members, Professor K. Joshipuraji, Professor Y.N. Mohapatra, and Professor Y.K. Vijay for doing an excellent job and giving the award to a best deserving person. So thank you, jury members, also. And finally, I must thank all the participants who have enthusiastically as Professor Ahluwalia mentioned, the participants who have joined at the beginning were there till the end of the interview. And that shows that how eager they were to know more about Uthraji and learn more about. And it has been a really inspiring session for all of us here. And so thank you each one of you, and be there with us. And IPT is really happy to have you all with us. So thank you each one of you, and namaskar to everyone.
Before you complete, can I just put in a word? I
Yes,
forgot
madam.
about it.
Yes.
Each of these applicants have to be nominated. And this
Yes.
year, Dr. Uthra was nominated by Professor C. Vijayan himself. And that was
Yes.
the greatest starting point why we were looking forward for the applications, because it has been nominated by so-and-so. So that nomination has a very important role to play. And we put a lot of effort in understanding what the nominator has to say about the applicant. So thank you very much, Vijayan sir, for nominating Dr. Uthra, because you are the starting point for her to apply. And I'm extremely grateful to you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you,
Professor
ma'am.
Vijayan. So thank you one and all. And it has been a really great session, at least for me. It was an inspirational thing. More about
Yes, ma'am.
Uthraji. And
Before
yes,
ending
one
this-
more last. I must thank Dr. Poonam for doing a wonderful job. She has really kept the session alive right from the beginning till the end. So thank you for being with us for the session. Thank you.
Ma'am, before ending this session, there is a very good comment, appreciation in the chat box by Professor Vidyanan. There is a Kural in Tamil, if I pronounce it right. The more you draw out of the well of a knowledge, the more still remain like the onion. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Professor Vijayan. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. Thank you. I feel very humbled, actually. Thank you so much.
So thank you. Enjoyed it. And I think we will continue with these kind of series.
Yes,
Thank you.
sir.
Yes,
sir.
Bye.
Thank
And
you,
good
sir.
night.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaskar to everyone and good night.
Good night, ma'am.
Thank you.